Welcome to Land Speed Legends, a podcast talking to the men, the women, the legends that make land speed racing great. Discover the stories of these ordinary people whose passion for land speed racing has made them legendary. And now, here's your host, the Bonneville Belle, the High Boy Honey, the Salt Princess, Allison Volk Dean.
Welcome to another episode of Land Speed Legends. Today we have the legendary Patrick Volk, who I am lucky enough to call my big brother. He has been going to the Salt for almost 50 years. He is the younger brother of the Volk Brothers Racing team. He is the first of the Volk siblings to get into the Bonneville 200-mile-an-hour club, which he did in 1991. And is currently the crew chief of the 59 Volk Brothers Roadster. This episode is going to be as exciting as Jim Jenson telling you to put your face shield down. All right. Well, thank you, Patrick, for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yes, I'm excited too. I have a little bit of a cold today, so forgive me for my hoarse voice.
We'll get through it.
All right. Well, let's get into it. Let's talk about you growing up on the Salt Flats, the Bonneville Salt Flats. You have probably been going out to the Salt for close to 50 years, I would say, wouldn't you?
Over 50 years.
Over 50 years. How old were you the first time you went out there?
Oh, I was probably one.
Yeah, that's probably how old I was too.
Yeah, so 52 now. So
yeah, so you were born and raised on the Salt Flats.
Absolutely.
With the rest of us.
Yeah.
Okay, and so what was it like? What are some of your best memories from growing up on the Salts?
Oh, I mean, I have so many of them. My earliest memory is when Dad got in the 2 Club.
Oh, really? That's so cool that you get that memory. I don't get that memory.
So I was 5 years old.
Okay.
And I'm surprised I remember this, but me and Dallas we were sitting in the hotel and we were watching cartoons because it was a Saturday. And it was the end of the week when he got in.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So, and then just when he came back and we realized that he was in the 200-mile-an-hour club, it was, we were so excited.
Aww,
and so, yeah.
What a cool story.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that that was going on. And
I just remember that. That's probably one of my earliest memories.
That's so cool.
Ever.
Yeah. 5 is probably, you have a few memories at 5. Well, that's a cool memory to have.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. So, what are some other things like growing up there? You ran around with probably a lot of the other kids that were out there. Do you remember any of that?
So, yeah. So, obviously I remember the Birkelands. We had Tom and Bill that they were older than us, but, they always kind of, they were nice to us and played with us and, just took us around and we had, obviously the Strasburgs, we knew those guys. Trying to think of anybody else that's kind of the same age as us, but, it was always just exciting to go out there and see the cars. We were so excited about the cars and seeing the people that we knew. And so it was always just a thrill to go out there.
Yeah. It is a thrill and it still is.
It still is today.
It still is. I remember your son, PJ, for those who don't know, I was driving out there one time and we were driving out to the Salt and he's like, I just got little butterflies in my tummy. I was like, me too, PJ, me too.
Yes. PJ went out there when he was probably about 9 days old.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We celebrate his birthday out there a lot.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a family affair. So what cars do you remember kind of having out there? Because there was a few cars that we've gone through. I've only known one car growing up that we had, and that's the 59.
Yep. So the car that Dad got in the club with, the modified Roadster, that's the first car. And then I remember him when he sold that to Don Ferguson. He came over to our house and it was kind of sad to see that car go. But he started building the car we have now, the Roadster, the Highboy Roadster. Mm-hmm. And so we got to see that process. Frank Parks building the chassis and Dad helping him out. So that was kind of a cool process to go through and watch it just come from nothing to the car that we're racing today. Yeah.
Yeah, Mom said that she had a picture of you, just you and Dad, and you were handing Dad little tools. No, you were little tools. You were little handing him tools, and
probably the wrong tool, but
I know he'd let you know too, even at 4. Yeah. So and then so that was so did it just go from the modified to the regular Roadster?
Yep.
Okay. The 59 when I say regular Roadster, but
yeah. And so the
high boy.
Yeah. The modified was a white modified.
Yeah.
And then when he built this car, it was, I don't know if you remember this, you've probably seen pictures, but that was a white car too. He had that painted white, and it's always obviously been through many different colors since then.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
What was your favorite color scheme? I can tell you mine.
I like the one with the flames that had the ghost flames on there.
Was that what color was it during that?
It was like a dark maroon. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Dallas blue, the transmission.
Yeah.
Through the tonneau cover.
I liked my favorite is the dark blue with like the pink. I think it was the color it was when you got. Is that the color it was when you got in?
Yeah.
Kind of had like pink. I mean, it was very 90s.
Oh, yeah. Had like those pastel colors. on there.
But it was a dark blue, and that was definitely like my favorite one. I think we should throw back to that.
I'm good with that.
The 90s are back, baby. So yeah, and so you grew up with Dallas. I mean, you're a Volk brother and Volk Brothers Racing. So you grew up with Dallas. I'm 9 years younger than you and 11 years younger than Dallas. So I wasn't out there probably in the formative years, but what is it like having siblings out there, or what do you think about just, I guess, in family in general about how that works out at the Salt?
I mean, it was always good having Dallas out there just because, you always have somebody to kind of hang out with and, when you're little, you're not really working on the cars. You're just kind of, you've got things going on.
I know, right? You're riding bikes and going, checking out things. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, obviously we would like dig in the salt.
Oh,
and just all that stuff. And
my kids do that too.
Yeah. And, I remember we used to, when they had the old, pop tops on the soda cans, we would shake them up and see how high we could get the soda to shoot out of them.
Oh my God.
Thing. Yeah. So we wasted a lot of drinks out there, obviously.
Which is not any different now, except they just drink 2 sips out of them and leave them. So wait, the pop top. Oh, okay. Like the V8 looking, is that what it is?
Pull it all the way off.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you shake it up real good and just pull it back just a touch, it'll shoot the soda out. So.
Good times. So do you remember how the Salt was then? It was, I mean, I can see a big difference in the last, 20 years out there. What was it like, the Salt, what do you remember about the Salt?
Oh,
how it used to be versus now?
Yeah, we would take screwdrivers and hammers and dig it down into it, and you would never hit mud.
No.
Like, you couldn't, as hard as you tried, it was just all salt.
Yeah.
So now it's, it's just right below the crust of the salt.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was just coming. I mean, when it rained out there this last week, it was just, you could see the gypsum under it, which technically in their studies they call salt, but no. I was like, go race on that then. If you
and it was just
salt.
like, it was just pure white. Like there was no dark spots where the it's kind of mud and salt or gypsum, whatever it is. And the nice, crust ridges. Like, so
the pressure ridges.
Yeah.
And then I remember coming out on the frontage road and it was all white. It wasn't muddy like it was now. It was white the whole way out.
Oh, you would get like if you're going on I-80 going west, I mean, well before the rest stop out there, like it was salt clear out. I don't know how many miles. It seemed like forever when you're little, but yeah, it was salt for a long ways before you got there.
Yeah. And then another difference that I think I see, and maybe it probably isn't more different, but just the size of things, especially Speed Week, what used to be what Speed Week was like. It just felt like a bunch of people camping, and it turned into this big thing. Yeah.
So, I mean, when we were going out there, even into my teenage years, like it wasn't, I mean, there's probably a couple hundred entries, and, I never really kept track of it, but just, it didn't take you very long to see all the pits and the cars. Like you would just kind of ride your bike around and check everything out. And it was, there just didn't seem like there was that many there. Like they have like what, 3 rows, 4 rows now.
Yeah.
Like, there was probably like 2 back then. So,
and not as long down.
Yeah.
It wasn't, you didn't have which I love. I love that they have all the camping at the bend. That was never a thing. And the car show was never a thing, which it's all awesome. I love that it all kind of has exploded that way.
And like there was obviously no camping in the bed of the road, but like the Berklands, like Gene and Betty and Tom and Bill, they would all camp at Tarantula. They call it Tarantula Gulch. That's right when you're going into town, just that area right before.
Oh yeah.
So
I think they wanted to build something there, right? Is that where you're talking about, where they're going to build those? Okay, so it's called Tarantula. I didn't know that. I've never.
Yeah.
So that's where the Berklands.
That's where they always camped. They never went to the hotel. They always had their camper with them, and I remember when Gene got in the club too. Like,
oh, cool.
Yeah.
So what?
Probably 78, I guess.
Yeah, that was the year I was born.
Yeah. So we had actually gone up to Park City to ride the what's the Alpine slide, and Gene refused. He was like, "I've gone fast enough this week. I don't have to go."
I could see Gene doing that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't need that Alpine slide.
Yeah. So
that's fun. Cool too. So you guys went up to Park City after the meet.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I think they hung around in Salt Lake for a little bit.
Yeah.
It seems like, and just kind of looked around, but I was just excited about the Alpine slide. I was 8 years old, so.
You're like, it's really cool that you've gotten in the 10-mile-an-hour club. Let's do this Alpine slide thing.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, is there any other memories that that was a really cool memory that you just kind of popped in your head? I know it's kind of funny when you start talking about it. You start thinking of these things. Anything else that you can think of?
Yeah. I mean, I've got like all kinds of memories, like when Howard Johnson got in his accident and lost his arm. And so they kind of stayed with us, like, his wife and kids stayed with us in Centerville for a little while he was recuperating. That's not like a great memory, but it's... But yeah, it's still
cool. I mean, it's a good memory probably overall in terms of you got to spend time with them.
Yeah. So,
and it kind of shows what like a family it is. Like people stay with people in Salt Lake and we take care of each other, even if we don't even know each other that well.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like, people would, he was friends with Dad, obviously, but that kind of community is pretty impressive. Like, just that people will go out of their way to help somebody else out.
It really. And then do you remember when Gary Gablich stayed with you?
Oh yeah.
Let's tell me
That's a good one too.
That's a good memory, right?
Yeah.
Gary Gablich, who drove the Blue Flame.
Yeah. So, obviously he came in and I knew about the Blue Flame and how fast he went. And we went to the old spaghetti factory, and I honestly don't know how old I was, but I was comparing scars with him. I was telling him that I had more scars than he did, and because Dallas I think Dallas hit me in the back of the head with the rebar, so I had stitches there, and then I had a couple other. But he blamed you.
Dallas said, "Oh, you stood up too fast and hit your head."
Yeah. But he was good. Like he went along with it, and he was a good sport about it. And so he was cool, and obviously he gave us a little model, and then he signed the picture.
Oh, I remember that model.
Yeah.
Where is that?
I don't know. I got to find it. It's got to be in the basement.
Yeah, it's in the basement somewhere.
So,
but
and the picture too, the autograph picture.
Oh yeah,
was pretty impressive.
Oh, I remember that too.
Yeah.
We'll find that.
Yeah,
it's a good thing, or in storage somewhere. Yeah.
But that's obviously that's a great memory.
That's an awesome memory.
As you bring them up, there's probably just so many of them that I can't even think of right now.
I know,
yeah.
Right?
And that's all because Dad just knew all these people, and so that's what makes it. I thank him for that. It's something that you can't put a price on.
No.
All those memories. So
yeah, Dad is a He's a good guy. He definitely helps people out, and people help him out, and it's just part of the whole community out there.
He's
and
a networker.
And that's something that's unexplainable to people. Well, I tell people when they watch The World's Fastest Indian and the way people help each other out is just exactly how the salt is. It is just it's that kind of vibe and feeling to it. So. All right. Well, let's talk about you getting into the Bonneville 200 mile an hour club. I remember what I was doing exactly when you got in the club. I think I was with Summer Vesco, and I remember Rick being like, "Hey, your brother just got in the club." And I was like, yes. I mean, I was probably, what do you think I was? How old were you when you got in the club?
So I was 21.
So what is that? Do the math quick. 21 minus 9. I was 12. Yeah. Riding my bike, me and Summer Vesco just cruising around, Calvin and Ronnie. And yeah. So
that's kind of a good story because up until that point, Gordon Hoyt obviously had his 300Z that he built that got Tom Thomas in the club. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you've ever seen the video, but Tom's accident. Yeah. That car's totaled. And
what was that car, though?
It was a 300Z, so it was a fuel coupe.
Yeah. But it was a comp coupe?
Fuel coupe.
Oh, fuel coupe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So he had motors that he had in his modified in that car. And so Dallas ran I think the D blown a few times. And it broke a couple times that Dallas drove it. And so Dallas, he was in the guard. I was in the reserves at that time, the Air Force Reserve. Dallas was the Air Guard. But he had an inspection going on in the base. And so he couldn't go out there. And so
he snuck right in there. You're like, guess who else can drive?
Yeah. So that's, so he had a C-blown gas small block Chevy. And so it was the first time he'd always run fuel. So we started running this on gas, just kind of where the record sat up. And so it was kind of achievable. Mm-hmm. And so I got the chance to drive it. And so it took about till Wednesday to kind of figure the gas out and how we were tuning it. And it was essentially just Gordon, Dad, and Tom Thomas and myself.
Was it a USFRA meet you got in at?
No, it was Speed Week.
It was Speed Week. Was it the end of the week? It seems like it was kind of...
It was probably I think Wednesday, and then that was back when they had it where you went one way. Oh, you went one way, and then at the end of the day, you go back the other way. So,
yes. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about, is that you got getting in the hard way. Right.
Well, I think the hard way is the way Dad got in.
Okay, so that was gone by that time.
Yeah.
Okay, where it was the 3 times you had to do it, the old-fashioned way. Okay. Yeah. And so then, but you did your return run going the opposite direction, which they've gotten rid of. Yeah. Which I think I remember that very clearly, people going that way. So, but it was the end of Speed Week.
No, it was probably like Wednesday.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know why it feels like maybe it was just me. It feels like it. Or maybe it was that time, people started clearing out by Wednesday pretty good.
I'm sure there's probably some people clearing out.
Back then. But so you got in and then got to go straight to the banquet.
Yeah.
You were recognized that night.
Yeah.
And then you were back in the day like Gordon Hoyt, and I have him back there. Do you see back there the hats?
Oh, yeah.
The Pride pink, and I think the new members then got
we had fluorescent green, fluorescent orange, and then fluorescent pink.
I'm pulling that one down up there, and I'm going to take a picture of you for the Facebook wearing.
So when
and Instagram.
So when I got in the club, we came back, and the Salt Lake Tribune did a story on it because we were the first father-son team in Utah to get into the 200 mile an hour club. Uh-huh. And so, I mean, that was the hat I was wearing. It was black and white, but the picture but you could see in my 2 Club picture, it's that same one. I'm wearing that hat.
Right.
So it kind of looks light colored, but it was the green one, I think.
Oh, yeah. And that was all the new members got that one.
Yeah.
Which is so 90s. I love it. I think it's awesome. I wish they were better like constructed hats. They're kind of card. I wonder if you could refill it because I would totally wear one of those. Yeah, they're pretty amazing. Well, I think it was a great experience. I didn't know that you guys were the first father and son 2 club members in Utah, and probably it was pretty rare even for the 2 club back then. I bet you there wasn't that many.
Yeah, so you could, I mean, like the Temples, that was probably one that was in there before us. I'm trying to think of
the Temples.
Yep.
I don't know who that is.
Bill and Greg.
Oh, okay. Bill and Greg Temple. Okay, now that you say it, yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some other ones that. Oh, Willie and
oh yeah, Willie and oh my gosh, Phil. Yes, thank you. And
so I'm sure there's a few others that I'm missing, but those are the ones that I can think of.
And the Strasburgs, they weren't in yet.
So
were they, or not?
Mike got in the same year I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so they were just right behind you.
Yeah. And in fact, I think they got a couple people in that week.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Oh, that's so cool though. I didn't know that either. I'm just learning all sorts of things here. So that's a great memory. Anything else about that week or that ride or the getting into the club that you remember?
I have a couple things. Like that's when Al went 409. Like
nice.
Broke that record.
Was there something that wasn't the same return run though that you were doing? Was it? Were you doing that return run?
Yeah.
So you guys were both returning at the same time.
Yeah.
So did he go before you or after you?
I think he went. I can't remember. It was kind of a blur because like you're like just so excited.
Oh my gosh!
Like, like you can't. But I'm probably sure he went before me. Like,
it seems like he did.
Yeah.
And it was that was the first 400 mile an hour. Is that what it was?
It wasn't the first one, but obviously it was the first one since the summers.
Yeah. Okay. So for a while.
Oh yeah.
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 And he went 409.
Yeah. I think it was
cool.
409, but I think that's what the end record ended up being.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to think who else was down there. Like Mike Cook he was trying to get his Thunderbird to go 300, like to be the first, door slammer to go 300.
Yeah.
So he was pretty close. I can't remember if he got it or not. I don't think he did, but like it was close.
Yeah, and it was 300. Exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So
those are some. Yeah, so that was all happening. That was a pretty exciting meet.
Yeah, yeah. And I just remember on my return run, I went down and it was probably just after the third mile, the time mile, but I just kept my foot in it just to enjoy it for a little bit.
I did the same thing.
But I kind of saw something on the track and it was just kind of a black dot at first and I kept going and all of a sudden I could see it was somebody's hood scoop.
Oh my gosh.
A big hood scoop.
It wasn't a black dot anymore.
No. So I kind of steered it a little ways around it, kind of eased it over, but yeah, that was a good
made
memory.
You start questioning that extra mile. You're like, oh shoot.
Yeah, and then I got to the end, and I think like Jeff Nish was there too, but like Gordon and Tom and Dad were in the truck, and they'd pull up, and they're, how fast do you think you went? It's just like, just freaking tell me like if I got it or not. That's all I need to know. So
that's funny. Yeah, you got in when they're asking you how fast you went. How fast do you think you got? Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. That is awesome. I feel like I can't remember that many details. There was probably a lot of cool people getting in the club. Betty got in the year I got it. There was a lot of people that got in the year I got it. It was pretty cool. When I start thinking about it, I probably could start remembering it. Well, let's start talking about some of your projects that you have done in the past and what you're doing now and what you want to do. So what have you done in the past? You had an engine that you had in the 59, correct?
Yeah. That was just a little small block that I built just kind of on a whim, just kind of for fun, just thinking I could help some people get some licenses. So put that together and blew it apart the first time we took it out but it's been pretty reliable since. So
yeah, that's not the one that I did the shakedown on.
Yeah.
Okay, and I was like, turn it off. This is not going well.
Yeah. So
okay,
it was that one, but
and it's just, I think that's great. I love that little lapper that can get people licensed up.
It's been good. Like, so it's been enjoyable. Just kind of, it was enjoyable working on that, and I just kind of did it in the garage, just part time, but Obviously I've worked on the motors, like the motor you got in with, in Dallas. And so, and then going on to the 590 car, working on that one. So,
do you mainly work on the modified Roadster or the high boy?
Probably the high boy.
The high boy.
Yeah,
I put you as the crew chief as the high boy. That's what I'd kind of consider you as.
Yeah. Well, right now, I mean, with the 4-cylinder in there,
it changes a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah. So
but
Jeff
at
obviously's got his little 4-cylinder in there, so that thing's a little finicky to tune. So
you're like, I don't want anything to do with it. You can do it, Jeff.
Yeah.
So what do you do right now out there, like in the pit? What is your kind of main?
I guess it just depends on what's in the car. Like, obviously when it's my motor, I'll tune it, just kind of figure out what's, the air and is, what kind of pill to put in there. But like right now with the little 4-cylinder and then the one in the 590, I just kind of just bounce back and forth and help out wherever I can.
Yeah, just fill in wherever you can.
Yeah.
You're just a Renaissance man, just dealing with it all.
Yeah, but it's nice too when you don't have to, like, there's people out there that are working on it, so you can kind of take a break too. And
right.
Yeah, so you don't feel like
there's a lot of, we got a lot of help out there.
A lot of help. Yeah.
So you can kind of just sit back when you want.
But I mean, that takes me to a memory too. Like, I hope I don't have to go back.
No, hear it.
Probably my favorite, I mean, obviously getting the record was getting in the 2 club was an awesome memory. But like my favorite memory is, we had the motor the B motor that you got in with, and it was gas. Mm-hmm. But that fuel record was still, like, Jeff, I think, got the record the year before. Mm-hmm. We just changed it and put it in the fuel class. But it was just me and Dad. It was the World Finals, and just us two working on it, us two in the pits. And, that's probably one of my favorite memories is just hanging out with him. And,
that's so sweet. Pat's getting a little teary-eyed, I can tell. But that is, and you just kind of, it was just you two. Who was driving? You?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. So I got the record, but.
And what was the record?
Oh, it was like 236 or something.
Okay.
235. It was under your record. So you can be safe.
I was a little worried there for a minute, stressed out.
But yeah, it's just kind of cool. Like, I just remember it's obviously in October, it's like chilly in the morning. So you're wearing, an extra jacket and a hat, but, we just kind of just did our thing. And so there's no pomp and circumstance. It was just kind of working on it and tuning it and just driving. So
that's awesome. I think we probably all have our own Dad memories of us just out there with him. I can think of ones too, and I'm just out there with him by myself. Yeah. It's me and him, and I'm trying to get him to eat right. And I was probably 22 and annoying, but I can remember. That's
one of the best dad memory with me.
Yeah, let's hear it. Yes.
Do you know what it is?
No.
Really?
I don't. What is it?
We were out there dragging the track, and
oh yeah, let's hear it. I do know this story now.
So we're dragging for World of Speed, I think it was, and like me and Dallas had been working on that track. Like we'd do it when we were 15, 16. We'd go out there and drag the track for the USFRA meets. And obviously you're going 5 miles an hour up and down. Back. Yeah, just so boring. So we'd like take our friends out there. We had Gordon and Brett Lawrence go out there with us, and somebody would hang back on the flatbed while we were dragging. But it was just me and Dad out there. He had his work truck, and we were taking turns dragging. And so it was his turn. So I got in the truck and thought I'd have some fun and go do some donuts. And
yes, this is awesome.
Yeah. And so found myself buried up to the axles, got out into the mud a little too much. And
a little too much fun.
Yeah, a little too much fun. So I mean, the truck was buried to the axle. This is his work truck, and I was probably like 2 miles away from the track, and so I think he was wondering like, where the hell's Pat at? And I just started walking towards the track, and I can see him driving towards me with the truck. and it's kind of like the scene from The Right Stuff where he's walking from the crash, like, right? Except I was not the hero.
You were the zero.
Yeah, I was the zero. And so he asked where his truck was, and I kind of pointed back to where it was sitting. And
like my eyes water.
Once he saw it, like just every other word was like the F word. Like I was just using it for everything.
Verb, noun, adjective.
Yeah, he's just punching the roof of the truck that we were in. And so we get out there, and the flatbed we had some plywood siding. And so it probably took us this was late in the afternoon, probably took us a good 5 hours to get it unstuck. And in the meantime, we got the other truck stuck.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So we finally got his work truck out. He was more worried about his work truck because obviously...
Yeah, it's his work truck.
Yeah, it's his work truck.
Yeah, he doesn't own it.
Yeah. And so we finally got it stuck, and it's pitch black. Like, you cannot... And you'd be surprised if you're out in the middle of the salt flats and you'd think you could see the freeway or something. You do not know which... This is before, like, phones, like GPS or anything. And so you do not know which direction you're heading.
Yeah.
And so it took probably another like 4 hours to get off the salt flats. Yeah. God. And so his line is that he would have killed me, but he needed my help. So
he does say that. I have heard him. I would have killed him, but I needed his help.
Yeah. So.
Oh, that's a good story. That has me tearing up laughing.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you could pick any kind of project, if money wasn't an issue and you wanted to build something and any car, any engine, anything, what could be the smallest thing or the biggest thing? What would you run out there?
Oh, I like the Highboy. There's one record that I'd like to go after, and it's the D-blown fuel.
Okay, and who owns that now?
The Temples. It was the gotcha car.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So they've had that for a while.
Since 81.
Ah, okay.
So, I mean, that's...
Just go win the lottery. Let's just go out there, gamble a little bit. You don't need to win the lottery, you said?
No, I think
you think it's attainable?
Yeah, I think so. I mean...
Let's do it, Pat.
Yeah.
What are we waiting for?
Yeah, so... But,
oh, that's cool. I like that. And it's what did you say?
D-blown fuel.
D-blown fuel, just Roadster.
Yeah.
All right.
I think it's 240. I can't remember the exact number. But
yeah, I wish I could have had the record book and looked it up. D-blown. Oh, Pat has his record book right here.
Let me look here.
D-blown fuel. And the Temples, you said they're Temple
241.
Brothers? 241.
Yeah.
Okay. And the Temple.
So,
and what was the year for sure?
81.
81. Father-son record.
So I used to love that car, the gotcha car.
Yeah. I got to look it up and see what I'm sure I can't. It'd take me a minute to figure it out on the internet. But okay. Well, that was like one of your cars that you loved out there and you'd like to go after that.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's obviously like, you have favorite cars out there? Like not current ones, like the ones when you were little.
Oh, like the Raspberry Rocket. I know. That was I like the Lakesters. It was just like kind of an old fashioned Lakester I like that one a lot. That's a good memory. Shane really likes the Lakesters, but I think he likes more. Theirs was a little bit past a belly tank Lakester, I think.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a cool car. It was always one of my favorite ones. It was like, the Raspberry Rocket. You know, the color, the purple. I think maybe it was because it's purple. I don't know, but. Yeah, there's a few others I could think of.
Yeah,
so.
like I like obviously the Speedomotive, like the Altiques car. It started out as a Lakester.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was always one of our favorite cars. Like the Birkeland's Studebaker, the Coupe was amazing. And then Tom built the B210, the Datsun. That's like Gordon Hoyt's and. The Kugel's car, I always loved those
Kugel's car was rad.
Markley's, and the Markley's was amazing.
Yes, I always liked Danny Boy's stuff too.
Yeah.
I liked their Streamliner. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
I'm sure I could think of a few others. Even though this isn't an old one, but Bombshell Betty is always like a famous one that you're like, that one's rad. I'd like to ride that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, is there any other great memories that you can think of? Anything you want to wrap up with? Or we got a lot in there.
Was that good? Like, did we?
Oh my gosh, we hit
enough time.
33 minutes, man.
Boom.
I know, pretty easy breezy, huh?
Yeah. So, I mean, I did. Me and Dallas used to just go through like the program and just look at the 2 Club.
Oh yeah.
And like those were our heroes. Like just kind of seeing like even though like the old ones, like that's the one we remember, like Leroy Newmeyer and
like, and seeing their pictures up in the up on the state line.
At the state line.
I can remember it only went up to a certain year, but like you would see them all, their faces are like ingrained.
Like those are just our heroes. And so like Bonnie Wolf, like that was always fun to hang out with him.
I know, that's kind of the reason I started the podcast.
Is it?
I really wish I could have gotten some of his stories. It would have been pretty fun to have down on like, record.
Yeah. So, I mean, you have to get everybody's like all the old people that get their stories.
Well, and you're going to be somebody's hero now. It was pretty legendary. I thought that was a pretty legendary podcast. I liked it. You did great.
All right.
So, I hope everyone enjoyed today's podcast. I want to thank my brother, Pat, for showing up on very late notice. He was such a good brother for me. He's always been a good brother to me. And he is a land speed legend. And yes, please like and share this episode and go to my Instagram and Facebook pages under Land Speed Legends. Thank you very much. I hope you all have a great day.
Thanks for listening to Land Speed Legends. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. In the meantime, keep up with the show on Facebook and Instagram under Land Speed Legends. Until next time.